Okay, so today students are going to learn about asking good questions to collect data. We are starting our unit on statistics and probability, and we always start our unit by discussing statistical questions and talking about what they are. Now here we have an interesting graphic. When I look at this graphic, it has on here favorite ice cream flavors, and it says here, what kind of question can I ask my classmates to collect this sort of data? Well, if I want to know what people's favorite ice cream flavor is, I would simply come out and ask them. I would do a survey and I would ask the kids at each table, I would say one at a time, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? And they would assume that the person who collected the data in this table said vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and then there was probably a few that said butter pecan, a few that said pistachio, a few that said different flavors, and they lumped them all together and called it other. And when I look at this, I see that we can call this categorical data. And it looks like there is some variability here. People came up with different answers. So if they did ask, what is your favorite ice cream flavor, that was a statistical question. A statistical question is one where the answer could vary. It's not going to be a situation of like how many students are in Mr. Hall's classroom and there are 25 students in Mr. Hall's classroom. That's not a statistical question. But if we were to ask how many students are in each of the home rooms, as the person went from room to room, they'd probably get a different number. They'd probably get a different response, and that would be a statistical question. And if they wanted to show that data, the data collected, because we're talking about numbers, we would call that numerical data. Now, here we have a little activity that we can do as teams. It says here, what questions could you ask about this stamp collection? Now, we have a lot of stamps here, and some of the questions that we could ask could be statistical questions. Some of them would not if the answer would be the same. Like if I were to ask how many stamps are there, that would be a question that's not a statistical question because it would have one answer. There could possibly be, we'll say 80. And that's the only answer that you would get. But if we were to ask, what are the sizes of the postage stamps? Well, that would vary. That is a statistical question because some of these postage stamps, if we measured them, they might be 2 2/10 centimeters. They might be 3 centimeters. They might be any measurement, and that would be a statistical question. If we were to ask how old are the stamps, that could be a statistical question because some of the stamps might be, 4 years old, some might be 20 years old, some might be newer, older than that. We would get a variety of answers, so that would be a statistical question. Now, I've prepared a little table, a little chart, let me call it up here, where we have some examples of questions, and I'm going to go over these with my students present. Let's look at number one. Okay, I do have students present, and we'll go over this one together. It says, Rodney wants to know how much sleep the 6th graders in his class get. Which survey question below will give him the best data? Now, if you ever get in a situation where you want to find an answer out, you want to come up with the best question you can. And when we look at this situation where they want to know how much sleep the 6th graders in a class get, which of these questions would come close to getting you that information? We have A, what time do you go to bed each night? B, how many hours of sleep did you get last night? C, did you go to bed before 10 p.m. last night? Or D, do you think you get enough sleep each night? All right, boys and girls, talk to your tables for a moment about which of those questions you think would be the best one to ask. Okay, I'm going to call on I'm going to call on little Andrew. Tell us, young man, which do you think would be the best question to ask for Rodney if he wants to know how much sleep the 6th graders get? B, how many hours of sleep did you get last night? That would be it. And that would also be an example of a statistical question, because you might have some kids say that they got 7 hours. Some say they got 6. Some say they got 8. Some might say they stayed up all night and only got a couple hours. Some might say that they were sick and went to bed real early and didn't wake up and slept for 12 hours or something. So that would be an example also of a statistical question. And if we were to present the information on a table, that would be a numerical value. That would be a numerical way of showing it, because you would have a number there. 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, and so on. All right, let's look at this one. All right, here it says, Craig wants to know more about the events schoolmates competed in during field day. Which question below is not a statistical question that he could ask? Which one of these is he not going to get a variety of answers? A, which event did you participate in? B, how long did it take you to finish the race? C, did you compete in the school race? Or D, how many students in your homeroom participated in field day? Which one of those choices would not be a statistical question where you could expect to get more than one response? Talk to your tables. Okay, I've heard a lot of good conversation going on about this. Morgan, what do you think, young lady, would be an example of a question that's not a statistical question? C, did you compete in the school race?
You said D.
You said D? You said how many students in your homeroom participate in field day? Okay, let's talk about this. If Craig goes from, to several students, and he says to them, how many in your homeroom participate in field day? They might say, well, 20 of us did. Another kid might say, well, 18 of us did. Another kid might say, 10 of us did. So you would get a variety of answers. So that one, I don't know. We wouldn't get that many, we would get too much of a variety. That one I think is a statistical. Joey, what do you think? A, which event did you participate in? Okay, let's think about field days we've had here at school. We've had sack races, we've had tug of war, we've had relay races, we've had lots of events. And so if you were to ask people which event did you participate in, some might say, well, I did the sack race, or I did tug of war, or I did this. You would get a variety of answers. So that one actually is a statistical question. Of course, the data would be categorical because you would have categories, not numbers. And D would be numerical data because you get numbers. There's another choice. Now this one is a little bit tricky. It's a little bit tricky. All right, what do you think, little Shouse?
Maybe C.
C, did you compete in the school race? That one would be an example that's not a statistical question because you're either going to get yes or no. You're either going to get yes or no, and I know that seems like a variety, yes or no, but it's only two things. And with a statistical question, you want to get a variety of data. With did you compete in the school race, you're either going to get a yes or a no. It's not going to be that much of a variety. Okay, let's look here at this one. Now, I'm going to pull this one down because it doesn't go along with this question. I don't want to confuse anybody. It says here that the data collected for the following question, will it be categorical or numerical? Now let's look at this question. How many hours do you spend playing outside? Now if you actually ask, I'm going to ask this of you right now. Think about this for just a moment. Yesterday was Sunday, and it was a cool day, but it was sunny. It was a very pretty day. How many hours do you think you spent playing outside? Think about that for a minute. Think about it. And if you can't really think about it, or if you're embarrassed to admit you stayed inside all day, then make up a number. Okay, how many hours did you play outside, Joey?
5 o'clock.
All right, so you gave me a time. You didn't give me how many hours. 5 hours. How many hours did you play, Ivy?
Maybe 6 or 7.
6 or 7. What about you, Morgan? 1. What about you, Wyatt?
I was up from 4 to 9.
Oh, how many hours would that be? 5. All right, what about you, Mackenzie?
2 or 3.
2 or 3. What about you, Morgan?
None.
0. What about you, Madison?
3.
Okay, you got to hear some kids said 5, one said 0, some said 3, some said 2 or 3, some said 6 or 7. Did I get numbers or did I get a category? A category like, if I were to ask you, what did you do? Some kids might say I played basketball, some say I watched TV, some say I went to church, some say whatever. By telling me how many hours you spent playing outside, is that numerical or is that categorical?
Numerical.
Numerical, that's numerical. Now let's look at this table here. Let me make this a little bit out of the way because we don't need it anymore. Here it says that this is the data displayed categorical or numerical? Now here we have a dot plot and we have X's representing people who responded. And they picked water, soda, juice, or hot chocolate. Now, based on their responses, water, soda, juice, hot chocolate, would that be considered categorical or numerical? All right, what do you think, Randon?
I would think that would be considered categorical.
Yes, categorical because they fell into a category. They either fell into water, soda, juice, or hot chocolate. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Now, we already did that one. We move on. Okay, here is another example of a question. What could be the best one to get the best data? It says that Cole wants to know how much time her friends spend in the shower. Which survey question below will give her the best data? Well, if she wants to know how much time they spend in the shower, would the best question be A, do you shower for longer than 15 minutes? B, what time do you usually shower? C, how long do you spend showering on average? Or D, how long does it take you to get ready before school? Which one of those would give her the best data if she just wants to know how long they spend in the shower? Talk to your tables.
That's the
It would say it says how long do you spend showering on average? B is what time do you usually shower?
That's the time. I thought you said. Yeah, I thought it was something else. It's C.
All right, I'm going to sling this one at Morgan. Tell us, young Morgan, which one do you think? Which one do you think best would give her results if she wants to know how much time her friends spend in the shower?
C.
How long do you spend showering on average? Yeah, because she's asking them, how long on average do you spend? Okay, let's move on. Here's another example about statistical questions. Let's look at it. Alicia wants to know more about the food served in the cafeteria at her school and what her classmates think about the food. Which question below is not a statistical question that she could ask? Which one of these is not going to give her a variety of responses? A, which food option in the cafeteria costs the most? What is your favorite cafeteria food? How many times a week do you eat cafeteria food? And what is your second favorite cafeteria food? Talk to your tables.
Because what item costs the most, it has to be just one item.
Okay, Joey, what do you think? A, which food option in the cafeteria costs the most is correct. Because you're only going to get one response. If it turns out, like let's say pizza costs $2.50 a slice, if that is the highest priced item, then that's the only response you're going to get no matter who you ask. If they know the price of stuff, they can tell you pizza, and that would be that. But now let me ask you a question. This time I'm going to rephrase this one. If we were to ask, what is your favorite cafeteria food? with the data we receive, would it be numerical or categorical? If we were to go around and ask people, what's your favorite cafeteria food, would the responses fall into categories or would it fall into numbers and be numerical? What do you think? Talk to your tables a second.
Categories. Yeah, what is it? Big categories.
Categorical or numerical? Just break it into chunks. Categorical or numerical. But now we've been talking about some of this stuff, like numerical expressions and things. So some of these words you should know. All right, let's fling this one back yonder there to Randon.
We think it's categorical.
Yeah, because it's either going to be chicken nuggets or pizza or I don't even know what they serve anymore. All right, let's look at C. How many times a week do you eat cafeteria food? Now, is that data that we would receive, would it be numerical or categorical? Well, let's think about it. Let's break it down this way. How many times, Andrew, do you eat cafeteria food a week? 3 times a week. How many days do you eat cafeteria food a week, Cheyenne?
Every week, most likely.
Every day, so 5 times a week. So far I've gotten 3, I've gotten 5. What about you, Shals? How often do you eat, how many times a week do you eat cafeteria food? 2. So we've gotten 5, 3, and 2. So that is a good statistical question, but based on the data that we got, is that numerical or is it categorical? What do you think? I'm going to sling this one at, all right, little Wyatt. Now, let's say this again. I heard a 2, a 3, a 5. Do those sound like categories or numbers? Then it's numerical. So if your data is a number, it's going to be numerical. All right, let's look at another one. Now, here, number 7 says, will the data collected for this question be categorical or numerical? What's your favorite restaurant? Okay. Ask yourself, is that going to get responses that will fall into categories or will it be numbers? Okay, talk to your tables a second. Okay, let's go over, I'll ask this, who wants to respond? Tell me, what's your favorite restaurant? Raise your hand and we'll respond to it. All right, what's your favorite restaurant, Ivy?
Red Lobster.
Okay, what's your favorite restaurant, Brandon?
Johnny Primo's.
All right, what's your favorite restaurant, Madison? All right, we've heard different types of restaurants, and they were not numbers. So what type of data is it, Kiata? Categorical, because it falls into categories. Okay, you all like to eat expensive places, it sounds like to me. All right, now here it says, is the data displayed categorical or numerical? Now I imagine that somebody asked the kids in their class, how many siblings do you have? Now siblings are brothers and sisters. And notice how 3 said 0, 7 said 1, 9 said 2, 6 said 3, and 2 kids said they had 4 or more siblings. Now, would that be numerical data or categorical data? Talk to your tables a second. All right, Caitlin. Caitlin, honey, what do you think? Well, we have numbers, so it's numerical. Numbers, so it's numerical. Okay, I think we've got the hang of it. But let's look at this one. Here we've got a child. He wants to know about what 6th graders watch on TV. What statistical question could he ask? Think about it. He wants to know what shows that the 6th graders watch on television. What statistical question could he ask? What question that could generate multiple responses? Talk to your tables for a second.
TV shows do you watch? Yeah. So you can just like, what's your TV? What TV show do you watch? I can't talk.
Okay, we'll go over here to somebody I haven't heard from. Okay, little Michael, what do you think? What question, Michael, could you ask if you want to find out, or if Cooper here wants to know about what 6th graders watch on TV? What could you ask? Okay, you had me going there. I thought you had it. All right, what do you think? What do you think, Morgan?
What's your favorite TV show?
What's your favorite TV show? There you go. That would work. I heard other kids. Saying things like, "What TV shows do you watch?" I know some kids I heard earlier say something like, "What genre of TV do you watch?" You know, like you watch the cartoons. Do you watch anime? Do you watch all that kind of stuff? Anime. Now, let me ask you this. If Cooper gathered up all that data and kids said things like SpongeBob and said things like Liv and Maddie and things like, I don't know what kids watch these days, but what type of data would we get? Would we get numerical or would we get categorical? Talk to you, Todd. All right, Joey, what do you think? Categorical is correct. Categorical.